Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I too rise, as so many colleagues have across both sides of the chamber, to endorse the words and sentiments of the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition in extending this nation's condolence to those who have suffered so terribly from the Christchurch attacks, and also to offer our solidarity and ongoing support to the whole communities and the nation as it seeks to rebuild from that time. Deputy Speaker, I come from Wollongong, and we always pride ourselves on how diverse we are, and we are a very diverse community, diverse in the ethnic backgrounds that people have come from, the languages that they speak, the faiths that they practice, the countries that they came from. And sometimes, like many in this place, we like to say that, you know, our particular patch is the beacon of diversity and that it's, you know, unique in some way. But realistically, I think that is a common story to the vast majority of Australia. To the suburbs of cities and towns like mine in Wollongong, to more rural, smaller places, our story now is one of communities that are very diverse. And I think what so many of my colleagues, and I use the term in this debate, my colleagues as all members, I hope, I'm sure, of this chamber, I think the experience we take out of that as we go around our communities is that there's something we celebrate and love about that diversity. You know, we talk about the music and the food and the cultural experiences, the economic and business benefits of that, the way it takes us out into the world and creates connections. We talk about all those things as wonderful, and they are. But at the heart of it, I think what we all see is that people are people. You know, people love their family and they want the best for their kids, and they love their community, and they'll be often volunteering in all sorts of ways. And if something terrible happens, with this fire or flood or, you know, mass unemployment event or something, people rally around together, and nobody particularly cares what faith they are or what ethnic background they are. People just rally around together, and I think that is a story across our nation. That's certainly my experience in Wollongong, and I find it baffling, incomprehensible that some people born here and raised here, as in this case with this Australian terrorist, could have such a mean, shrivelled heart that they could hate in the way that they do. I find it incomprehensible, but I also acknowledge it's a reality. And that's why I think the words of the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition are so important in saying very, very clearly as a nation, this is not us. These are not the values that we adhere to, and we will not stand by silently while other Australians say or do things that are divisive and hateful. It is not acceptable, and we will call it out. And so today I extend my sympathies and share the grief of the Muslim community of Christchurch as they get on with lives without so many people that were loved parts of those lives. And I acknowledge the whole New Zealand population and how they have a task ahead of them to work. And I particularly want to acknowledge the extraordinary leadership of Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. I just think her capacity to capture that sentiment of sorrow but also determination was what was so powerful. And as she said, let us acknowledge their grief as they do. Let's support them as they gather again for worship. We are one, they are us. And I think that's how we feel about New Zealand too. I just want to report to the House that there was a lot of activity in my local area in the week or so following this terrible terrorist attack. There was a candlelight vigil on the Saturday at the Omar Mosque at Grenville. About 200 people attended there to pay respect and show solidarity with that local Muslim community. Andrew Pearson of the Illawarra Mercury beautifully reported. He said, undeterred by heavy downpours of rain, attendees, young and old, of faith and not, held candles as they stood in silence outside the Foley Street Mosque. We are shocked and saddened by this act of violence, terrorism by this individual, particularly when the innocent people were worshipping in the mosque. And that was words of Omar Mosque Chairman Munir Hussain. I couldn't be there on that night, but Dr Hussain and the mosque are very well known to me. I've visited on many occasions and talked to them about many issues. And I was really pleased to see the strength of the community support that was shown to them. Dr Hussain on that night and on other occasions has called for government to act on Islamophobia, and I think that is a very reasonable call to make, and also expressed his appreciation for people who attended events. On the following Monday night, there was a vigil in Wollongong Crown Street Mall, which was organised by a quite long-established now group called the Illawarra People for Peace, a cross-denominational group that works for peace. Many hundreds of locals attended this vigil to honour the victims of Christchurch, people from all walks of life, community leaders and ordinary citizens, people of many faiths and people of no faith, young and old, all joined to show their determination that love, tolerance and community would triumph over hatred and division. Reverend Jeff Flynn of the Wesley Church in his address said, "What a wonderful diverse community that has gathered. I hope this will be a practical experience for you building peace in the Illawarra." Imam Sheikh Abdul Rahman and Omar Mosque Chairman Munir Hussain also addressed the crowds and reflected their view that the large turnout was proof that there were so many people who really just cared for each other, and the responsibility we all have to call out racism and intolerance whenever we see it. Sheikh Rahman said, and I quote him, "Ibrahim, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, they came to bring peace to the people. No prophet or messenger came to the people and said kill each other. Terrorists have no nationality. They can affect any one of us." Reverend Miao Yu from the Nantien Temple also spoke of the power of love and shared a prayer for peace. There were some moving musical contributions to the event with the traditional Maori song Pokorekare Ana, performed by Gokna Chanel, and a number of songs by the Union Choir. I want to simply say that I don't think my community was unique. I know they're wonderful, and I think they reflect communities all around this nation in our determination to extend sympathy and support and to commit to call out hatred whenever and wherever we see it. Thank you, Deputy Chair.